He was silent for years, hidden behind the legacy of the world's richest man. But when Elon Musk was publicly humiliated by Donald Trump, his own son stepped into the spotlight, and said the one thing no one else dared to say. His voice shook. His words cut like fire. And in 47 seconds, XAEA-12 changed everything you thought you knew about the Musk-Trump war. This wasn't a business move, it was personal. And what he revealed about his father left even Trump speechless. A feud that became a family war. A silence broken. And a moment that shook the world of politics and power to its core. Watch the full, untold story, only on Behind the Billions. Hit subscribe, and witness the moment loyalty roared louder than legacy. You don't even know him, the young voice said, barely above a whisper, but firm. The press room, filled with flashing lights and rapid-fire shutter clicks, froze. It wasn't just what he said. It was who said it. XAEA-12 Musk, the famously elusive son of Elon Musk, had just stepped into the biggest media storm of the year, and delivered a gut punch that no one saw coming. His face was pale but focused, his hands gripping the podium like it was the only thing anchoring him to earth. "You all think he's a monster," he said, his voice trembling, "but you don't see what I do at home." Gasps echoed across the room. News anchors visibly shifted in their chairs. Reporters lowered their phones, stunned. X had never spoken in public before, not in interviews, not in statements, not even on social media. He was more myth than man to the public. Until now. And then he said it. He's not perfect. But neither is Donald Trump. And what happened between them wasn't just politics. It was personal. That one sentence detonated across the world like a political earthquake. Every camera red light glowed brighter. Every news feed updated in real time. Elon Musk's son just broke the silence. And not just with a soft apology or a vague PR statement, but with emotional fire, calling out Trump, the former president, in a way no one dared before. The internet imploded. Within minutes, hashtags like #MuskSonSpeaks and #MuskVS.Trump trended globally. Pundits argued live on cable news without knowing what to say. Elon Musk's critics assumed his son would distance himself. Instead, he stood tall, heart on his sleeve, tearing open the emotional truth behind the corporate and political headlines. It was raw. It was real. And it was something no one, not even Elon himself, had prepared for. And behind that microphone, X wasn't just defending a tech mogul. He wasn't promoting Tesla, or SpaceX, or AI, or any of the usual talking points. He was doing something far more powerful. He was standing up for his father. And in that moment, the world didn't see the son of a billionaire. They saw a young man, stepping into fire, and lighting up the truth. The real story was no longer Musk versus Trump. It was father and son against betrayal. Just a few months ago, Elon Musk and Donald Trump were two men cut from the same cloth, or so it seemed. They were both disruptors. Both billionaires with legions of fans. Both had a shared disdain for traditional politics and a taste for shaking up the system. Behind closed doors, Musk had even privately admired Trump's defiance, once telling a confidant, "He's chaos, but sometimes you need chaos to clean house." That's how close it once was. But everything changed, fast. It started with what looked like a casual jab. During a Tesla shareholder Q&A, Elon was asked about Trump's rumored return to the presidency. Musk chuckled, then replied, "That's like trying to bring back Blockbuster in the age of Netflix. Nostalgia's cute, but progress doesn't wait." The crowd laughed. The clip went viral. But the man in Mar-a-Lago? He didn't find it funny. Trump fired back on Truth Social the next morning. Elon Musk is a glorified welfare king. Built on government handouts. Pretends to be a genius while outsourcing American jobs to China. Total phony. That post opened the floodgates. What followed was a political firefight that got darker by the day. Musk, stung by what he called a malicious smear, went on X, formerly Twitter, and accused Trump of being a tech-illiterate relic clinging to old power. He called for a future unshackled from the politics of fear and fossilized egos. Trump retaliated with threats. He urged Republican lawmakers to investigate SpaceX contracts. He told followers that Musk was a national risk hiding behind rockets and robots. Allies of Trump began to question Tesla's ties to federal subsidies. Rumors swirled of pending subpoenas. The heat was real. Investors grew nervous. Tesla board members called emergency meetings. SpaceX staff were warned to avoid political commentary. But while the public watched two titans exchanging verbal missiles, no one noticed what was unraveling inside the Musk household. Not even Elon realized how much of a toll it was taking on his son. While the world laughed, tweeted, and picked sides, a young man watched his father go from inspired innovator to bitter target. Every insult from Trump cut deeper than anyone on the outside could understand, because for Elon, it wasn't just politics. It was betrayal from someone he once respected. And for XAEA-12, that betrayal would soon become his breaking point. It was past midnight in Texas. The house was quiet. No staff. No calls. Just the hum of a muted news channel echoing in the background. Elon Musk sat alone on the couch, staring at the screen. Donald Trump's rally played on repeat. He didn't say anything for a long time. He just sat there. His arms were crossed. His face was blank. But his eyes were heavy, distant, hollow. XAEA-12 watched from the stairs. He'd never seen his dad like this. Elon was always full of energy. Always building, thinking, planning. But tonight, he looked defeated. He called me un-American, Elon finally said. His voice was low, almost a whisper. He didn't look at his son. He just stared at the screen. I helped that man, he said again. I defended him when no one would. And now he's turning people against me. X walked into the room but said nothing. He sat across from his father, listening. This isn't about politics anymore, Elon said. It's personal now. There was pain in his voice. Not anger. Not pride. Just pain. For a moment, he looked like any other dad. A man who trusted the wrong person. A man who felt stabbed in the back. He used me, Elon muttered. He used my name, my platform, my reach, and then when I stopped agreeing, he threw me away. X didn't know what to say. He'd grown up hearing his dad speak about power, vision, and building the future. But now, Elon sounded like a man who had lost something more important, faith in people. That night, X didn't sleep. He sat in his room, thinking. He replayed every moment. Every time his father had praised Trump. Every time he had tried to believe in him. And now this? The insults. The attacks. The betrayal. Something snapped inside him. He couldn't stay silent. Not anymore. He had to speak. Not as a Musk. Not as a public figure. But as a son. A son who had watched his father hurt. A son who had seen the truth no one else could see. And the next morning, without telling anyone, not even Elon, he made a decision. He would step into the fire, and speak the truth. The press thought it was a joke. When the Musk family team sent out a cryptic media alert, statement from XAEA-12 Musk, regarding the ongoing Trump-Musk controversy, most reporters rolled their eyes. Was it a PR stunt? A distraction? A move to calm Tesla investors? But the moment he walked onto the stage, everything changed. He wasn't surrounded by handlers. He wasn't wearing a suit. He didn't smile for the cameras. XAEA-12 stood there in a simple black hoodie, his jaw tight, his eyes laser-focused. The media lights bounced off his pale skin, but he didn't flinch. He just gripped the microphone with both hands, and started speaking. "This isn't about money," he said. "This isn't about followers or political teams. This is about what happens when loyalty gets weaponized." Reporters went silent. He didn't read a script. No teleprompter. Just raw emotion. He told the room how he'd watched his father go from hopeful to hollow. How Elon had once believed Trump would protect innovation, challenge broken systems, and defend thinkers like him. But instead, he was mocked, targeted, and humiliated. "I saw what it did to him," X said, his voice shaking. "You didn't see him after the cameras went off." "I did." He spoke about late nights when Elon sat alone in his office, silent, disconnected. Times when his father would open Twitter, read a new insult, and close the app without saying a word. Not out of anger. But hurt. He admired Trump, X said. "That's what made the betrayal worse. Because admiration isn't something my dad gives out easily. It was the kind of speech no one expected from the teenage son of a billionaire. It wasn't polished. It wasn't political. It was honest." The room felt different. Even the cameras seemed to pause between flashes. And then, without warning, he delivered the line that would echo across every news outlet in the country. "Sometimes the truth ends friendships." He looked straight into the lens. No fear. No hesitation. Then he stepped back from the mic and walked off the stage. No follow-up. No Q&A. Just silence. But that silence said everything. The room didn't erupt in applause. It just froze. Because everyone knew they'd just witnessed something real. And the fire had officially been lit. The internet went into meltdown. Within minutes of XAEA-12 speech, headlines exploded across every major platform. Cable news anchors fumbled for words. Pundits were stunned. Social media split down the middle, half calling him brave, half questioning if Elon put him up to it. But those who truly watched, saw something different. They saw a son defend a father, not with numbers or business jargon, but with truth. And for once, the world didn't see Elon Musk the billionaire, the meme king, the Mars-chasing madman. They saw a man who bled behind closed doors. Who wasn't invincible. Who could actually hurt. Everyone waited for Elon's response. Would he strike back at Trump again? Would he play the media game? No. He didn't post a thread. He didn't launch a product. He didn't even retweet a clip. He simply posted one line. "Proud of my son. The future has a voice." And it just roared. Nothing more. That single post got over 300 million views in 24 hours. No hashtags. No ads. Just a father acknowledging a moment that wasn't about business, it was about family. Behind the scenes, insiders say Elon was blindsided. He hadn't known his son was planning the statement. One aide claimed Musk had tears in his eyes after watching the clip. Another said he canceled meetings that day, went out to the Tesla test track, and just walked, alone, thinking. Trump, for his part, remained publicly silent. But sources close to him admitted the speech rattled him. He reportedly asked his team if Musk had trained the kid for this. But it wasn't strategy. It wasn't war. It was love, raw, real, and unscripted. And in the aftermath, something strange happened. People who hated Elon began softening. Not because he apologized. Not because he changed. But because his son reminded the world that beneath the headlines, beneath the power, beneath the firestorms, there's a man who bleeds just like anyone else. XAEA-12 didn't just speak for his father. He redefined him. He turned a feud into a family moment. He reminded the world that behind every legend is someone who still needs to be defended, not by PR teams, not by followers, but by blood. And in doing so, he didn't just change the conversation. He changed everything.